Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got the total station mostly assembled. I'm working on a couple of last minute things. I need to make the miter wings that sit next to the Kapex, and I'm working at fitment for all of the Woodpecker stuff that I bought. So I wanted to do kind of a separate video away from the actual assembly of the bench and talk about the Woodpecker's accessories that I am putting on the total station. So first let me start off with the fence itself. So I'll put it maybe like this, and maybe that'll look good. So I bought the Woodpecker super fence with pretty much any accessory that I could come up with for it. So we've got dust collection, we've got the offset module on the outfeed, so this will allow you to do like a jointing procedure without having a jointer on site. So this basically staggers the two fences. I also bought the feather boards with the feather board mounts. So these allow me to have feather boards on here that kind of slide kind of anywhere on the fence itself. These feather boards are actually pretty neat too, because this middle adjustment is basically like how much pressure. So right now with it all the way up, these are actually pretty loose, but if you loosen this guy and then you push it down, what it does is it makes the tension on your board a little bit higher. So depending on what applications you're using, there's lots of different options. And then the last part of the fence that I got that was kind of important was the micro adjust, which is how this will actually all get fixed down to the bench. So the micro adjust allows you to move the whole fence in and out, you know, very, very small amounts, I guess you could say. So when you get the cutter in the router lift and then you start playing with the adjustment, if you're off a little bit, you can use this dial instead of trying to loosen them and move it in the T-track. I figured this would be a little bit more accurate for the finer finish work. So now that we have the fence out of the way, essentially that's going to sit somewhere like this. These two holes from Woodpeckers are 17 inches apart, just kind of a random weird number if you ask me. So we're going to do some modification and we're going to make them 16 on center instead. Let me set this back over here for a quick minute and then we can talk about the T-track that I have here. So I've got 3 sticks of regular T-track. I think I got it on Amazon. I'll link it in the description below. But essentially what I'm trying to do is I want to have one that it runs parallel with the direction of the wood when you're running it through the router, so that I can use a second feather board this way so that we can make sure that we have good pressure against the fence. And then I've got 2 of them that are going to sit this way. So I got all these laid out, and I'm probably going to use a combination of maybe like the track saw and the jigsaw to get all these let in. But the bolt will be able to slide in from this end, and then I'm just going to have it stop. And then on this end, we'll have these guys go this way, like such. I've got some reference marks that I made on the bench so that this would help me in the video here. But these ones will dead end here, and I'm going to connect them into the last 2 dog holes on the bench so that you can drop in and then slide forward to get the super fence mounted. So that will allow us to put the router fence on the table. The router lift will sit kind of in here. I believe to the center of the bit I have like 10 or 11 inches from the edge of the table, so plenty of room this way to run most things. And I'm kind of toying around with the idea of, like, if I was going to do a lot of raised panels, maybe building a jig that would clip in here that would give me a little bit more of a table. So if you have like a 24-inch wide piece, but I don't think it'll be too much of a problem. So that's going to be the layout of the T-track on the bench, which I'm looking forward to. I also have some spare T-track that was for the super fence, and what I thought about doing with this is setting it up so that it could actually register out here. And what that would allow me to do is put a feather board all the way out here and then have the feather board have more capacity to the fence of the router fence. So all stuff I'm kind of toying around with today. So I'm gonna get this stuff cut. I've got to get some backing built for underneath, and I'm gonna try and get all this track set so that we can maybe start playing with actually getting the super fence mounted up to the table. All right, so the other thing that is getting mounted up today is the Woodpecker's router lift. So basically what I did was I put a framing square up into, let me get this out of the way. I put a framing square into this corner so I could figure out what this radius is. It looks like the radius ends right about 3/8 of an inch in either direction. So I have a 3/4 inch spade bit here. We're gonna give it a little trial run and see if the radius of the 3/4 fits nice on here. If it does, then what I can do is I will go ahead and get the lift over here where it belongs, which is right in here somewhere roughly. I'll have to get it all laid out exact and square, but then I can lay this out so that I can drill my 4 corners. I'll connect them with the track saw, we'll clean them all up, and then we should be able to take this guy, flip it over, and set it in the bench. Well, what do you know? The Woodpecker's super fence and router lift are installed. Everything looks kind of the way that I intended it to. The lift ended up being 10.5 inches from the outside to the center of the bit, which will be fine for most things that we're putting like a profile on or something like that. The backing is in, you guys probably saw that. We put some plywood backing underneath so that the T-track has something to sit on, as well as the router lift. I need to cut some shims for the router lift because she is about a 1/16 low right now, but that is installed. It worked out well using the track saw to get everything set, and then it gives me just enough room out here on the end that I can drop the super fence in and then slide it into the T-track. So that is all good. I drilled these out, and I'm going to go ahead and cut a little bit off of either end of the micro adjust, just because it hangs over by just a smidge, but enough to drive my OCD up a wall. So I'm gonna take about a 1/2 inch off of each side. Because this is 16 on center now instead of 17, I moved both of these holes over a 1/2 inch, so there's an extra hole here, but such is life. Other than that, pretty much everything worked out how I wanted it to. The featherboard track is in a great spot. I think I can do almost 7 inches here, and if I were to do that additional track that would mount up some of the time out here, I think I can get out to like 10 or something like that. So pretty awesome. I'm very happy with how it turned out. You guys will see this video after the completed workbench video. The whole workbench will go up first, and then the time lapse of how I did this part will come up second. So stay tuned for that, and we'll keep moving right along. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys that have been subscribing lately. The channel seems to be growing quite a bit. I've only got like 400 and some subs right now, and I got 50 of them in the last like 3 weeks. So if I could keep up that growth rate, that would be awesome. But that's what I got for now. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below. We'll see you guys in the next video.